going slightly mad. I'm going slightly mad.
Hello. Hello. How are you, Aloysius? Oh, yes, you are right. Oh, I mustn't forget. Hello, everybody. I have something to show you. I have a book. Yes, I have a book. So why does it say Natalie Muller on the cover instead of Hatter? Is my book? Oh, that's because Natalie Muller is my alter ego. Or am I her alter ego? I don't know. Oh, hi, Aloysius. You're going to give me an existential crisis. Anyway, my book is very exciting. It teaches you how to write. It teaches you how to write. And that's, yes. Where can they get? They can get it from the Black Cockie Press website, or they can get it from bookshops. Okay, we'll put links down below. Yes, links down below. Yes. So we're very, very excited. It's all about how you write the first draft of your book. What are we talking about today? Well, I'll just put this down. Today, we are talking about a really interesting and important thing, and that is we are talking about the way that people, writers, can end up feeling an awful lot of envy and how that is so not good for their writing. You mean the way that Bruce got a piece published and you didn't, and now you hate Bruce's guts? Yeah, that sort of thing. You do realise Bruce does not write in the same genre that you do. He writes in a very, very particular genre, and it's quite obscure, and there aren't very many people who write in it. And so the odds of him getting published were pretty high because he is an expert in his field. Yes, but I still hate Bruce's guts. You do not hate Bruce's guts. Bruce has never done anything mean to you at all. All he did was get his paper published, and yours didn't. Yes, but Aloysius, I think you need to sit it out for a little bit because you're getting reductive and into a nasty envy spiral. So this is exactly what I wanted to talk about, because envy seems to be a really serious problem for, well, all writers, all creative people, a lot of people in general, but it's particularly a problem for people beginning writing, we've seen. Now, if you would like to see an exceptionally good essay on writing and envy, I would suggest that you read the romantic critic William Hazlitt's essay called On Envy. I will put a link down below to the book that it can be found from Project Gutenberg, so you can read it for free. It's only one essay out of a big book. And he talks about literary envy as being something that has been around. He also talks about painterly envy, but literary envy in particular, talking about the lake poets, in his case talking about Wordsworth and Coleridge, and their envy of Alexander Pope, who was an older poet from the 18th century. They were both from the 18th century, the Lakes poets, though they went into the 19th. But it's a very, very interesting essay. And we found this essay. Are you ready to come out and stop being mean again? Yes? Okay. Where did we find this essay, Aloysius? Do you remember? Yes, we found it on another YouTube channel. We found this essay in an excellent video by Dr. Octavia Cox, who writes video essays about classic literature. Very fascinating, very, very fascinating channel, and we'll put a link down below for that too. Don't you envy her because her channel has more subscribers than yours? Well, no. I think she has a very, very good channel, and I really would like more people to see it, because I think it's very important that it gets out there, because she's very good. But what's about, yeah, well, this is growing. It's growing. It's doing its thing. But how would being envious of somebody else who doesn't do even exactly the same thing that we do, we have a little bit of lap over because her ladyship also looks at 18th century classic literature, but she looks at it in a very, very different way, Aloysius. Why would I envy somebody who isn't doing exactly what I'm doing? She doesn't do dress-ups. And she doesn't do a whole lot of the different things that we do. Why should I? But it wouldn't, if I did envy someone because they were doing something that I wasn't doing, or they had something that I wanted, what use would it be for me to change my entire channel to do what they do when they do it so well themselves? But then you might get, no, it wouldn't work like that. It's not work like that. But why should you promote someone who's doing better? Why should I promote someone who's doing better? Because I think they're really good. Aloysius, do you remember a few weeks ago Laura Trevelyan's essay on books that you hate to love? And she talked about Fiona Wright and the fact that she really, really, really cannot stand Fiona Wright, but she will read every single thing that Fiona Wright writes because she thinks it's such good writing. Yes, you remember that? Now, do we attempt to write like Fiona Wright, even though we admire the writing so very much? No. Do we attempt to write like Patrick White, even though we like the writing so much? No, we don't. Exactly. And why not? Because you're not as good a writer. Well, thank you very much, Aloysius. Thank you very much. No, it's not because I'm not as good a writer, Aloysius. It is because I am a very different writer, and I have very different stories I want to tell. Okay, I don't write at all like Grant Everett, but I admire his writing. Yes, but science fiction sells better than what you sell. Oh, thank you. Yes, I know science fiction can sell better than what I write. Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Because this is the thing with envy, is if you let envy and looking around and thinking such and such is better than you and such is, it doesn't deserve quite what you do. So, you know, I write literary fiction. And literary fiction is a really tiny little genre. It's tiny. And genre fiction is huge. And very, very popular. But I have no desire to write that. I could envy people who write books that maybe I don't think are as well written. But, you know, we're all very, very different. We're all very, very different. And I can't tell the sorts of stories I want to tell in perhaps a more popular genre. I have to use the genre that I've chosen, because literary fiction is a genre. It's not a non-genre. It doesn't sit outside genre, but we don't call it genre fiction. We generally put it into a little box, and readers put it into a little box because of that. But I don't envy a genre fiction writer their success. For one thing, if you are very successful as a literary fiction writer, chances are it will continue, or it could just sink into the mud like, you know, everything else. But the possibility that it will continue long after you is there. Genre fiction is, by its nature, fairly disposable. So you're playing two very, very different games. Yes, if you are excellent at genre fiction, if you are Jules Verne, if you are Arthur Conan Doyle, we will remember your name as centuries after you've died. But look at the books that her ladyship looks at. Some of those books, they're just forgotten. Some of those writers are just forgotten. She's dug them up. God knows where she's dug them up from. But some of them, they're not commonplace. Henry Fielding is, everyone knows Henry Fielding, but Henry Fielding is full of fornication. So we all know Henry Fielding. That's why we know Henry Fielding, but not everybody. I mean, there are some really interesting books coming up that you would never have heard their writers. So it's all, you have to stay true to yourself. Envy stops you being true to yourself, and also makes you very, very lacking in an ability to collaborate. Because if every single person, including Bruce, is your rival, then it will be very, very hard to make friendships in a literary world. And believe me, having friendships and having people you can talk to and understand what you're going through as a writer is very, very important. So, taking away from this, Aloysius, back where we started, you need to stop envying Bruce. The best way to do this would be to put more effort into your own writing. Be true to who you are as a writer. Yes. Be true to who you are as a writer, and do the best you can possibly do. And yes, I know there will always be books out there that you wonder, how on earth did that get published? And why on earth are they making so much money? And blah, 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 blah. But in all honesty, that's always going to happen. Always going to happen. What you need to do is focus on your work, not on other people's, because that way you go mad. Anyway, I think that's all from us. Bye-bye. De volke Finger, ich bin ja Jesus, bin Bye-bye.
If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other materials to help with your writing.